So now that the horn is all polished up, the next thing you need to do is make a peg for the end. I'm just using, I believe this is 1/2 inch hardware store dowel and a utility knife. And I'm just going to start whittling it down evenly. And then I can see it starts to fit, so once I get it to start to fit, I will take the trusty 4-in-1 rasp and start filing it down. See how it fits. That seems to fit pretty good now. So I'm now going to take it and take a saw and cut it. Then I'm going to put it in, whittle it a little bit. You kind of want to shape up the other end with the file. And then you want to sand it a bit. If you want, you could drill a hole in this to attach a lantern if you wanted. So now that your peg's made, the next thing you want to do is put some finish into the plug. Now in this case, I'm going to stain it with some of this cherry stain. You can use any stain. Do however you would stain or finish wood. This is just the way I'm doing it. You can, if you want, just slap polyurethane on it. Be my guess. So I'm just going to stick the swab in there. But I think with this maple and this red stain, it should look pretty nice. And then I'm going to do the same thing to the peg. Now, if you're going to engrave your horn, you could do it before you do this. But, as you can see, I got some stain on the horn. And I'm going to want to steel wool that off. So, color looks cool if I did it evenly, but I don't think I will. There's all sorts of stuff you can do if you want. So now at the finish shred, I'm going to take and steel wool off any extra. Or polish, scrape, whatever you want to do. Make all the extra disappear. So, now if you do want to engrave, like I said, I'm not an expert at it, but I'll show you how to, with simple tools, to put your initials in the date. So I'm just gonna sketch my initials on there. And the date. The year at least, not the full date. And then all you gotta do is, to do it, I'm gonna use a knife. I'm gonna take a knife, and I guess I need to buy masking tape. And I'm gonna tape this part just so I can hold the knife like this. Then I'm gonna take a stone. I'm gonna hone this to a point. And then all you gotta do after that then is hold the horn carefully. And just sketch around there. So now that you got that scratched in, you can then go over it with a Sharpie. Your scratch marks. And steel wool that off. This will make it show up really bright. Now obviously they didn't have Sharpies back then, but you know, and there's more traditional, like I think it's called Indian ink or something that you can use. As you can see, that showed up nice and bright. You know, so now it's signed, so I know I made it and I know when it was made. So the next thing I'm going to do, and again, this step's entirely optional, is I'm going to patina this horn. To do that, I have my propane cooker going, and like when I boiled the horn, you can do this on a stove just as well. I'm going to stick a kettle on there and make up a little mixture. I'm going to first start with some water. About 3/4 of the way full. And then a decent splash of apple cider vinegar. And then some onion skins. I'm going to let that cook away for a while. And yeah, I'm going to let it sit here till it boils. So now once the pot is boiling, I'm going to stir it up pretty good. And it's been boiling for a few minutes now. So get it really nice and stirred. And then I'm going to turn my gas way down, just enough to barely be, just enough so it stays lit. Then I'm going to take pliers with tape on them so I don't damage my staple. And I'm going to press that horn in. I'm going to try to do my best to keep the plug from getting too submerged. And I'm going to let that hang out there. And then you just kind of hang out here for, the longer you set it in, the longer it'll dark. I'll probably give it 10 minutes. Now this technique, along with a few others, was learned by the first book I bought when I got into making powder horns. It was written by the Sibleys. I will have a link to it in the description. So now that I've been sitting here for 10 minutes, I can pull it out and drain the water out. And you can see it's gonna kind of has a brownish, tannish color. Kind of like a slight orange tone to it. I think for what I want, that's pretty good. So I'm gonna let the horn sit and dry off. So now that the horn is patinaed, it kind of has a nice look to it. I'm gonna lightly steel the plug. Kind of lighten that up a bit. And then after that, and again, any of these later steps, it's all personal preference. I'm going to make it look a little prettier. And I'm going to take tung oil and put it on everything. And yeah, I'm just using not tung oil, boiled linseed oil. I'll put some on the plug. And then a really light coat on the horn. Just enough to give it that nice, I don't really want to shellac, but kind of preserve the horn. And put it on the peg too. And then I'm just gonna let that dry. So as you can see, the horn pours powder. And you can load it into your black powder rifle or your miniature cannon.